Hello friends, my name is Meet Merchant and I'll be talking about principles of management. Before we talk about principles of management, let's talk about what actually management is. Initially, the definition of management was the procedure of handling people and organizing people. Today, the definition has changed a bit. It is not about managing people, it is about managing sectors. Let's say you own a company A. A company A manufactures some goods. So you will need a manufacturing sector. Second, the company will trade, sell and procure goods from different sources. So it will need a supply chain. Third, in order to sell those goods, there must be some kind of advertising amongst the people. So there is advertising and marketing. And fourth, there will be also people in an organization which need to be organized. That is HR, so human resource management. Also, there are many financial aspects involved, like is the company doing profit or is the company doing loss, what is the operational profit, and many other factors have to be considered. So, also a finance sector. All those things combined together is known as management. So, management is not about just handling people, but it is about handling sectors. Ultimately, the goal of a person should be to get things done in an organized manner. Now that we are aware about what management is, let's talk about different functions of management. First is planning. What exactly is planning? Suppose you want to do some business, but you do not know how. So you have an idea, but how to go about doing it is known as planning. Second is organizing. Once you are through with how to go about doing it, you have to segregate it into different parts. Okay, this is the manufacturing part, this is the second part, this is the third part. After that, after there are different small organizations within the big organization, there are different works related to each organization, which requires staff. So that is called as staffing. Allotting a job to one person is known as staffing. Then directing. After the people are allotted their jobs, they must be aware of how they should do their jobs. Directing them and showing them the right way to do something or their own way to do something is known as directing. And final one is controlling. What exactly is controlling? It's not about shouting at people, it's not about telling them what to do, it's about having an idea of what they are doing and guiding them if they go wrong. These are the functions of management. Let's talk about principles of management. That is our main topic today. What exactly is principles of management? Management principles are the statements of fundamental truth based on logic which provide guidelines for managerial decisions making and action. There are basically 14 principles of management which are involved. They are basically based on your normal logic which goes about, and also they are concluded by many experimental studies. First is division of labor. Division of labor takes place in an organization when you know what kind of sector you should work in. Let's say you set up a company A. You will not set up that company based on the staff that you have. You will first set up the company and then allot staff to different people. So that is division of labor. Second is authority and responsibility. In an organization, people must be aware about who is above whom. So that is basically to give people an assurity. If they get stuck, there will be someone to assist them or guide them, and they should know how much authority they possess and how much decision making power they have in an organization. Third is unity of command. Let's say you are doing some work and you have two people above you. Both of them will get you to that goal, but both of them have different approaches. So whom to approach, how to approach. Let's say for the first step you approach person A, and for the second step you approach person B. Both of them may have different techniques of working, and if you consult to two different people, you may end up with a totally different result. The person should not receive instructions from more than one person is what my point is. Third is unity of direction. When the person is receiving an instruction from one person, the person who is instructing them will have a plan in mind, and he will guide them and he will take them through with that thought in the same direction only. Without unity of direction, unity of action cannot be achieved. So once you are going through one direction, then you will know what actions to take place and what all things to do. third is fifth is equity. What is actually equity? Equity in a gist is the amount of stake a person has. In a way, the employee in an organization must feel fair, kindness, and justice. He should not feel like he's being treated differently with anyone, or someone else is being treated better. There should be unity amongst employees, so that there are no repercussions later. And every person in an organization must feel that he or she is important to the organization, without which the organization may not function. Sixth is order. This principle is concerned with proper and systematic arrangement of things and people. Arrangement of things is called material order, and placement of people is called social order. Both of them is the task of a manager, and they must achieve it with the optimum level. Seventh is discipline. Let's say in an organization you have allotted tasks to different people, but are they working properly? If they are working properly, is the output which is received correct? Is it what it is? Is the output equivalent to the demand of the customer? So discipline basically means sincerity, obedience, and respect of authority from the subordinates to the seniors. Everyone must know what disciplines they should follow, and they should obey it correctly for an organization to function nicely. Eighth is initiative. In an organization, a person must not feel that he is pressurized by something. He must be free to share his ideas to different people. The more the ideas, the more innovation we can bring about. So no one must be left out, because you never know what idea will come from where. Initiative basically means eagerness to initiate action without being asked to do so. In an organization, if a person feels like there is a fair justice amongst him, and his credit will not be taken away, then he will take the initiative to bring about different ideas, different work methodologies, or share his experience, which will help the organization to function better. Next is the remuneration. That is, if a person works for 14 hours a day and his work is accountable to a larger quantity of the production that takes place, and he is given a meager salary, he may not feel like there is justice being done to him. His efforts will not feel rewarded. He must feel a sense of satisfaction after working. And it should be in accordance to both the employers and the employees. So remuneration should be planned according to what the work of the person is. Then stability of tenure. Let's say you work in an organization for a year, then you leave the organization, you jump to the next organization, and so on. Then there are many disadvantages to that. First, the organization has to train the new employee about the different work culture. Second, the person who is leaving the job has to relearn something new at a different job. So the growth of a person may get stagnated because of a less amount of tenure at one place. The employees should not be moved frequently. That is basically what the point is. The period of the service must be fixed, and they must know that what their job is and how much amount of time their job will take. Next is the scalar chain. The scalar chain is the chain of superiority ranging from the ultimate authority to the lowest authority. The ultimate authority is of course the chairman of the company, and the lowest authority are the clerks who do the least important work in an organization. But each person should know what their role is, and everyone must have a certain set of orders and instructions that has to be passed through a scalar chain. Subordination of individual interest to common goals. Whenever you work in an organization, you must always feel like you are a part of an organization. Let's say you have an idea and to do some kind of work, and your subordinates or your colleagues also have some ideas, but their ideas in totality is similar, and you have a totally different set of ideas. Sometimes if both there are two different ways and both are equally effective, you have to let go. the 13th principle of management is esprit d'equipe. This refers to team spirit, that is harmony in the work group and mutual understanding amongst the people. If you work in a team, as we have already talked about, the individual goals are not as important as the common goals for an organization. If that is there in an organization, people will feel inspired themselves and they will work harder. The final one is centralization. The centralization means the concentration of authority at the top level. In other words, the centralization is a situation in which the top management retains most of the decision-making authority. These are basically the principles of management, and they are basically guidelines. It is not necessary for you to follow it completely, but you can refer to them whenever you feel stuck or whenever you are looking for some sort of guidance from something. You may have a different set of ideas and you can follow them if they are more applicable and if they are more efficient than what the principles of management laid down are actually. Thank you.